Let's go to the other areas.
This is Carlos.
To the tennis court.
And this is Luis.
So up here is where you live?
Two young people living just a few miles from each other, but their lives are worlds apart. They live in a country divided between American influence and Panamanian heritage, a big city and bright lights on one hand and extreme poverty on the other, the haves and the have-nots.
Ahí es donde les digo que las distribuciones están mal hechas o mal elaboradas.
And at the center of it all, the Panama Canal. The canals, both old and new, have created a business boom for the country, but it's not being seen on some of the streets of Panama. All of the money brought in goes straight to the Panamanian treasury. The government then decides where the money will go. But many people accuse the government of being corrupt and say the money isn't spread out evenly, creating an enormous wealth gap.
So this is your house?
Yes.
Su casa?
Sí.
Luis lives in San Miguelito, one of the poorest areas of Panama. It's a slum in the heart of a thriving city.
Pero todavía la distribución no ha sido, de los ingresos de esos no es tan equitativa porque no ha llegado todavía a los sectores más humildes, a los sectores más marginados que hay en nuestro país, tanto en San Miguelito como en las provincias de Panamá y en la misma ciudad. Nos damos cuenta de que todavía faltan proyectos o temas por resolver dentro de nuestro país.
The riches coming in seem out of reach, and basic necessities like electricity and running water can be hard to come by.
Hay muchas comunidades dentro de San Miguelito que todavía tienen servicio de hueco, no hay agua potable, se les dificulta ir a la escuela por factor económico, monetario.
The water here is supposed to be clean drinking water, but a pipe broke, and so instead it's leaking down this hill. So when people turn the faucets in their homes, they're not getting any water at all.
Streets are also overgrown.
So this is supposed to be a street.
El gobierno no realiza proyectos, no está realizando los proyectos que debe hacer con la creación de veredas para que nosotros podamos caminar, tener un espacio adecuado para podernos mover dentro de nuestra propia comunidad.
And without sewers, many people get sick from dangerous diseases.
Luis is telling me that this water here is highly contaminated with sewage, and you can also see all the trash that's floating down the waterway. And oftentimes when it rains, which is 9 months out of the year, kids will play in this water and they'll get really sick.
His community has been calling on the Panamanian government to fix the problems in his neighborhood for years. But so far, he says barely anything has been done. Panama has the fastest growing economy in the Western Hemisphere, but more than half of the country's young people, like Luis, live below the poverty line, the least amount of money someone needs to afford basic necessities.
En mi comunidad todavía no veo los beneficios tangibles o visibles del Canal de Panamá, pero en ciertas obras que han hecho el gobierno se ha observado.
He's talking about here, and here, and here. In these areas, everywhere you look, there's construction and expansion.
Big companies are coming in to demolish houses like these in order to make room for skyscrapers like those.
The poor say they're being pushed out, and foreigners, like Carlos and his family, are moving in.
So this is your house?
Yes, this is my house.
How many rooms do you have?
I have 3 rooms. If you count the one of the service lady, we have 4.
Carlos moved here to this gated community from nearby Venezuela, part of a bigger trend in the country. Wealthy immigrants like him are coming to Panama, and communities like this one are popping up everywhere.
You got a lot of influx of foreign direct investment into Panama in the last 7 years, and that has fueled the growth.
Carlos says he has the canal to thank for the opportunities given to him and his family.
I had the opportunity to study, I had the opportunity to gain money, I had the opportunity to get everything. Why a person that lives in San Miguelito can do that if they are like living here in Panama?
But for Luis, life in San Miguelito isn't the same.
Pero mientras pago la universidad, pago la luz, pago el cable, entre otras cosas, no alcanza.
Even with a full-time job and a college degree, he's just managing to get by. He says money from the canal would really help his community, but the Canal Authority says deciding where the money goes is out of their hands and that it's up to the Panamanian government to make a change.
There's a lot of improvement that needs to be done in the country. I mean, there's still poverty to be taken care of, but we don't get into figuring out where every dollar of our dividends to the national treasury is invested by the governments. That's something that the governments are paid to do.
In the meantime, all Luis and his community can do is wait and hope that the new canal will make a better life for everybody someday. Tom Hansen, Channel 1 News.